Welcome to Answers with Got you again. We're here live with Dr. L. Newman,
Reverend Doctor.
Reverend Dr. L. Newman, and myself, Reverend Spirit Soaring.
You had to think about it.
Yeah, I had to think about it because I'm silly me. Um, but we're here live to talk to you about things astrological, metaphysical, metaphorical, and some
Magical.
possible things.
And magical. I think the first one we need to talk about is the fact that as of yesterday, I know we've talked about it before. I'm redundant. I will speak of it yet again. We had a marvelous stellium, which we still have, made of retrograde Jupiter in Pisces, 2 degrees. The moon gliding the length of it. She's at 15 right now, so she'll be there till Thursday. And retrograde Neptune in Pisces. He happens to rule Pisces. So we're in a cycle where everybody's sensitivity level is way up there. Now let's go to retrograde Neptune first, because he doesn't have to, but he can offer kind of rugged reality checks. Think about Neptune. Think about everything that is fantasy, everything that's imagination, everything that indicates the way you think life should be. And realize that the more you find yourself disheartened with situations and conditions right now, the more you will reinvent life as it could be, will be, and is. It's one of those what you believe is what you receive kind of things. Neptune does take the sharp corners and harsh realities out of life. But I always said, can you be too Pisces? Yeah, you're too Pisces when you overdose. That's John Belushi. That's too much Pisces. But once you understand your sensitivity, which is now a notch up or 10, and once you understand your ability of reading people and situations, oh, hi, Lisa, you will discover a whole new world of possibility. Now, let's go back to the beginning. Mercury finally went direct, allowing us to slow down and look forward. And while our communications might be getting a little easier, the universe has thrown a monkey wrench in our cumulative plans. Starting on June 25th and lasting until December 1st, Neptune is beginning its annual backwards dance in the sign of dreamy Pisces, and we're in for a confusing, topsy-turvy roller coaster ride. The reason this retrograde Neptune will have us more confused than a chameleon and a bag of Skittles is because Neptune is the planet of illusions, dreams, and fantasies. When it's direct, Neptune can make us see what we want to see and affirms what we want to believe of people, situations, and even ourselves. But when it goes backwards, the rose-colored glasses fall off, clearing the veil and exposing unwanted and harsh realities. Hence the reality check. So it feels like the fog's lifted, and now we're seeing the world in high def, exposing each and every crevice and blemish, the ones we ignored before. We're trying to align our inner sentiments with the vibe of the outside world, which is why it'll be essential to keep our heads above water by grounding ourselves in reality. Meditate, call your therapist, go for a walk, anything that keeps your head clear. Neptune is the planet that's furthest away from the Earth. Its influence is subtle, something we feel on a subconscious level. It's very subliminal. It will also affect some people more than others. So let's see. That would be Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, Cancer, and Scorpio. But we all have 30 degrees of Pisces in our natal chart. So everyone's having this experience somewhere, somehow. Once again, if you need a copy of your natal chart, go to Astrolabe. It's ASTROLABE. Hit on the little link that says free natal chart. Bob's your uncle. You get a natal chart. You can even get a natal report for something like $15, which we figured out last week. It cost me $25 to generate. So as I'm giving away freebies, I'd be better off to buy you one through Astrolabe, or you can make it simple. On an individual level, Neptune's retrograde will bring about more acute sensitivity and be able to pick up on these things we didn't perceive when he was direct. So it puts you in that place where there's no doubt. It's nice to live in a world without doubt, isn't it? And finally, this is where we listen to our inner voices, and our creativity and psychic or intuitive abilities will increase. Notice when you're seeing the true side of someone or something emerge. Don't fall in love with something or someone's potential. See the situations for what they are and be honest with yourself and others. This may be an opportunity for us all to redraw boundaries with people and redirect our dreams, ideas, and visions. It won't hit as hard if we've been implementing healthy boundaries, being honest, staying on track with our responsibilities. But if you haven't been doing those things, well, hence the reality check, which is more like a reality bite. Yeah, that's Neptune and Capricorn, which is ruled by what? Saturn. So when Neptune goes retrograde, it's like don't fall in love with love. Fall in love with what you have here. What's really here? Or as the Dalai Lama says, nothing is as it appears. Because we look at life through the filter of our own emotions and feelings and needs and wants and prejudices, right? Yes. So now retrograde Neptune comes along and says, howdy. You know, all those things we blamed on Mercury were actually retrograde Pluto, retrograde Saturn, retrograde Jupiter now, retrograde Neptune now. That's a fistful. That's 5 out of 10 planets, actually. 5 out of 8 planets because 2 are luminaries. Anyhow, 5 out of 8 that are cattywampus. A lovely word, don't you think? Cattywampus. Cattywampus means you can't get here from there. Lisa Beard says hello. Hello, Lisa Beard. I don't know who she is, but hi. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Sweetie's watching under my page.
Very good.
He said hello.
Ah. How's your tooth? It's there, huh?
It's there. I can feel it.
That's a Saturn thing. Saturn Aquarius hitting all those Gemini planets in chart saying, guess what? You get to go to the dentist and they will give you a sucker. In fact, you probably won't even get a toothbrush. I used to enjoy coming out with a handful of sugar and a toothbrush.
Yep.
Maybe some dental floss.
That's probably why I'm in the position that I'm in now.
I reckon.
Too many dentists giving me sweets right after. You think it was part of the plan?
I do so believe. And then wash it down with, no wonder I feel like a nap. Well, now we can talk about that too. The Venus-Mars hot and cold cha-cha was
we can blame it all on Mary Poppins.
Nah.
Spoonful of sugar.
Take more than a spoonful. Venus and Mars were in Cancer for like the influence, technically 28 days apiece. However, cumulative influence is about 6 weeks. Mars is in Leo at 11 degrees. Venus is in Leo at 3 degrees. Excuse me. And that's what takes your energy level and just shoves it down the drain. It's kind of like you're sitting in a bathtub, feeling pretty good, and somebody lets the water out and your energy goes with it, kind of plop. And the scary thing about this, remember, Venus is cool and Mars is hot. Venus is feisty and driven, or pardon me, Mars is feisty and driven. Venus is charming and adorable and very magnetic. So when the Mars is there, you don't have limits, or you think you don't have limits, and you make plans and you make lists and you set things in order. And then Venus kicks in when she wants to, whenever she wants to, wherever you are, and says, you really need to be on the couch. Maybe turn the fan facing you a little bit. It's hot today. Put your feet up, grab a pillow, pretend you're watching TV till somebody changes it. Okay? Yeah, that's Venus Mars. And the same energy, of course, is going to eke into your relationships. So it'll be, I want company, but I don't want company. I want a relationship, but I don't want to work at it. Here's the thing, boys and girls. If you don't want to work at it, don't have a relationship. Just don't. Because every relationship on the planet calls for some kind of compromise. Some kind. Which requires an effort, which means make one. So if you're in a cycle where you really don't feel like any of this is all too rewarding and that couch is looking mighty good, don't fight it. Especially if you're one of the people on staycation, because a lot of folks haven't gone back to work yet, or the ones that are working around their own schedule, which is kind of nice. They've proven that people are more productive if they work when they're really impressed to. And so they can get more than a week's work done in less than a week's time because they're with it, they're in it, they're of it. This morning, pardon my eternal Michigan sinus. This morning I was sitting here working on my predictions, and Lisa walked in, and I was so far in the zone that she touched my shoulder and said, I love you. And I jumped like a cat. I was like, oh, hi. Were you there? She could have been setting fire to the table. I wouldn't have noticed right away. Computer working.
Swampy said, hi, kids.
Hi, Swampus. Swampy is our sound and production manager. producer, whatever, producer.
Look, I've been telling people for like 3 decades, if you need me to light a candle, say a prayer, reach out,
Mhm.
figure it out.
All right.
We said a prayer for his friend the other night and lit a candle for him. And, it's one of those things that I like to do for people. I like to help them let go.
Well, and the beautiful thing is there's always something you can do. You might not be able to bring the person back or ameliorate their suffering or whatever, but there's always something you can do in reverence and respect for that person and their beloveds. And as human beings, we owe that to them. Just basic decency.
Okay, I'm really confused.
Oh.
Sweetie's watching on your page now, and somebody else is still watching from my page on your page.
Huh? Okay, that's Neptune.
I'm showing up in too many places at one time. It confuses me.
Shades of what was her name? Madame Laveau in New Orleans back in the day. Marie Laveau was incredible hoodoo queen and goddess and toast of the town, as it were. And she just so happened to have a daughter who looked just like her. And so whenever she wanted to have a miracle, they would be doing something publicly in different places at the same time. And so the neighbor, I saw Marie Laveau on the waterfront. Well, I saw her in the market. Yeah, you did. You did. And she was a good guy. For all intents and purposes, she's a good guy. Now she's a tourist attraction, which is sadly what happens.
Well, I think that was by design. You mean? I mean,
Yep.
as far as I know, there's only one U.S. celebrity's body who's been stolen more than Marie Laveau's. Uh, 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 they got to the point with William H. Bonney that they actually have put a
Tracker?
no, they put a wrought iron cage
Mm.
that, I mean, it completely wraps his casket. It goes underground, above ground, side to side, top to bottom, and then that in itself is locked inside of an old like 1870s metal sheriff's cage.
Back when they knew how to build them.
I was reading the plaque at his grave. The poor body's been stolen like 19 times.
Eva Peron was stolen and dropped out of a plane.
Hmm.
And they picked her up, glued her back together, waxed her face, and she's still there smiling. Kind of a funny smile, but she's there. I think Lincoln was stolen once or twice, too. Or they tried to get into his
Swampy said they encased H.H. Holmes in concrete to keep him from being stolen.
He should have been sent through a wood chipper. For those who don't know, actually, my Jupiter Scorpio, I know way too much about serial killers. I do their charts. Tell me your sun sign. I'll tell you a serial killer. Make you happy. H.H. Holmes bought a hotel during the 20s, I do believe.
Yeah.
When the World's Fair was going on in Chicago. And proceeded to schmeiss his clients. So when people came in to rent a room, they did. It was a Hotel California. You can check in, but you'll never check out. He had body shoots. He had incinerators. He had all kinds of fun things. He was one. There was a couple in French Quarter. You remember them. Madame Larourie. Larourie. Who...
They made a American Horror Story version.
Oh, yes. That was the only good season of American Horror Story. In fact, I asked my friend William Maltese, my beloved William, my future ex-husband William Maltese, what do you think about it? And he said, well, that was a good season, and all the rest were essence of cat doo-doo. I said, yes, they were just as attractive as cat doo-doo. Yes, they were.
I liked the Coven episode,
Mm-hmm.
Coven series.
Yeah.
And the revisit. of that. That was about the only seasons I could actually watch of that.
There was one that was supposed to be about the Antichrist and the end of the world, and it didn't end. So I thought, well, there's no truth in your advertising. Although Kathy Bates is amazing. She always plays a pivotal role somewhere in
Well,
it. She's
see,
always good.
the one with that was supposed to be the Antichrist, that was the continuation of the Coven one.
Stink, stank, stunk.
Um, After the second episode, it actually got pretty good. The first two episodes were kind of stinky.
Painful. Painful. I gave nobody 3 strikes. Uh, The Walking Dead. There was a time when The Walking Dead was real back in the day and new. And they had an interactive website you could go on and chat with other watchers. Contest you could enter. It was good, and it was real characters and real acting. And then the guy that played, I can't think of his name right now, but when I'm not thinking, Daryl's best friend, when he got killed on a bridge or blown up on a bridge, it all went to heck in a handbasket, and I have not watched it since. And then they came up with something about the Walking Dead. It was another Walking Dead, and Fear the Walking Dead. And I said, "Oh God, don't let it be Walking Dead Light. It is Walking Dead Light." Also with actors I really like Lenny Henry, but no. An hour of my life, I would rather watch a test pattern than something foolish. It
um,
just doesn't work for me.
we have started watching a new thriller on Netflix,
Which is
Summer Sun
haven't seen it.
or Summer something. It's it's a new twist on the old zombie thing.
Oh,
Um, and it's got some old standby actors from years gone by doing bit cameo pieces that are sometimes quite humorous.
my best friend used to say, because you see these really decent actors in really awful films, and he'd say, "Remember that a working actor is a happy actor."
Mm-hmm.
They'd prefer to have the award-winning Sacco Buffo wonders, but if they're working, that's enough. And we who are self-employed salute you because we know what that's like. It's about attitude. You have to know that as good as you are, you have to be that good every single time, or your business will dry up and blow away. Poof, poof.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jupiter, Moon, Neptune, and Pisces. Once again, life-changing aspects. First time in 110 years that Neptune's been in Pisces to do this. Jupiter being in Pisces about 18 months to 2 years. Cumulative influence maybe 2.5 years. So every time he swings by Neptune, who's going to take his sweet time in Pisces, he's there for like 10 years. Every time he swings by, you get some kind of refresher course. But this is the heart of it all. Jupiter retrograde. People are seeking a spiritual tuning fork. They want to be able to be with people with whom their truth resonates, people they can trust, people they can tell their deepest secrets to. It's important. The moon, of course, karmic. It's your past lifetime. It's at 15 right now. Yeah, it's 1529 right now. And Neptune at 23, Pisces 12, retrograde Neptune. Where are you looking at life as you prefer it to be instead of how it really truly is? Because you can't work with, you can visualize how you want it to be, you can visualize how you plan it to be, but somewhere between there and here, there has to be some kind of effort made, some sort of organizational effort, some sort of, here's what I'm willing to do to get this, here's what I'll risk to get this reward. So those who rolled their sleeves up a while ago are in no problem. Those who are in love with love or in love with what they think a job will get. Radio. Here's a Neptunian business if ever there was one. Were one. Is one. Am one. I've been radio on and off 25 years now. People think it's easy. It's not. People think it's not work. Oh, they're so wrong. And people tend to think that it's like getting paid to play. It is if you have the right mindset, but you also have to work as hard as you play, or people aren't going to want to have to hear what you got to say. They're going to say, "Oh, I can hear this anywhere." Click. See ya. Bye. So whatever your career path or your life lessons or interpersonal relationships are right now. This is where you look at the reality of it, the real meat and bones of it, and say, this is what I have to work with. Say you're a cat person and your beloved's a dog person. You're either going to end up with a dog and a cat or no pets. Okay?
Right.
Now, the dog person will end up loving the cat. The cat will be indifferent because cats are like that. The dog is going to end up making everybody love him because they're dogs. It's what they do. But in the meantime, you'll have two people who are diametrically opposed. Cats and dogs are completely different critters coming together to make something work beautifully. I like that. So it's compromise. It's about creative compromise. It's got to be creative. Uh, I
Jack Mercer said hello.
Hello, how you doing? I watched a film recently. It's called End of the Line. You can get information at endofthelinefilm.com. It was on the Fuse network. I'm sure it's everywhere. And it's dedicated to and all about the women of Standing Rock. So it's only right that early on they started with our beloved sister, LaDonna, who has gone to spirit far too soon. The woman who brought the whole camp together, the woman who created this, the woman who fed it. And when you think of all the minutia, all the details, all the things she had to get together, it had to be a miracle of logistics. We're talking in the middle of winter. You got people. You need porta-johns. You need firewood. You need food. She and her husband made it all happen. I'm sure he's devoid of a big piece of his soul now that she's gone. But I also know he's going to keep the dream alive. And right now, we wouldn't have pipelines shutting down if it weren't for LaDonna and people like her. So slick little Tootsie Puss reporter is talking to LaDonna, taking time out of her very busy day. Well, what are you going to do if the pipeline goes through? Which at that time was going through graves, is what it's going through, sacred ground. And she got this smile on her face, and it was the smile of a Native American who's seen the worst that life can do to them, and also knows it won't break them. So she got a smile on her face, and she said, "Well, we'll pray. We'll pray in front of the bulldozers, and they'll shoot us." True. True. And yet, because of her bravery and that of other people like her, we're shutting down pipelines. Thank God for small favors. Now, another perspective that I didn't even think of, but I should have, shame on me 40 times. One of the women in the program said, when we deny Mother Earth the right to be who she is, we deny the rights of all women. We are a matriarchy. We come from the mother, we return to the mother. Yeah. Which is why we've abused Mother Earth in horrid ways, but we've also discovered that if human beings stay away, she heals herself. Dolphins were swimming in Venice because the bug sent people home. Think about that. So the purpose of conflict is resolution. Resolution. That's why we find conflict in our lives, so we can get to a place of peaceful resolution. What is it you can live with? What is it I can live with? Last week, sweet brother James disagreed with my fate versus free will. You choose your parents' attitude. And I was like, cool. I don't mind. I love when people have their own opinions. You don't have to buy into anything I say. However, I've done 25 years of past life regressions. So I've seen people, family members, reintegrate and then come back and reincarnate. Same dance, different song, different cast of characters slightly. Children become parents. Moon, Saturn babies. Children become parents. Parents become children, and on and on and on. But the fact was, because we are, oh my, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Because we are intelligent, evolved human beings, we can, oh, poor baby, bless you. We can agree to disagree. And in that place, I respect him even more than if he just fell into some kind of line and said, sure, whatever you say, I'll do it. That's what it's about. It's about listening carefully to what the other person has to say, stating your case succinctly. Don't take a month. It's like Judge Judy says, it's a half-hour show. You're not the star. You got 3 minutes and go. So make it a good 3, maybe 4 minutes, although the American attention span really is 3 minutes. And when I post things to my Facebook page, which is Mother Peace Drum or Reverend L. Newman, whichever. It's all me. I do post some videos that are longer than 3 minutes. But what I do is I fast forward to the end. Here's the kitten needs a home. There he's fat and fluffy. Here's Gordon Ramsay throwing food at the wall. There he is yelling at him. So I'll just fast forward it because I myself know once you get past 2.5 to 3 minutes, you've lost me. Because I have the attention span of a snow pea. And many of us do now with the Venus, Mars, and Leo. Our inner children are getting even. Now, my inner magical child bites. So don't be messing with me unless you want to get bitted. That's all there is to it. You poor darling, you're feeling so under the weather.
Toothaches or toothaches. I don't guess anybody heard mine and JC's after comments on Tuesday talks last week. But,
Tell me.
You know, JC had an automatic argument for James, even though she didn't want to present it as an argument. She's been dead too many times this walk to not believe in free will. Okay.
Exactly.
And choices. Because every time she's passed through the veil this time, she's sat down with the Creator and got some clarity. We write a game plan. Yeah, it might seem like destiny, but game plan.
Yeah.
Then we go and sit down with the Creator and we talk over that game plan. The Creator might say, the Creator might say, "Are you sure this is where you want to go?" And if you can present your argument in such a way as the Creator can
Creator can. I lost you.
I'm going to read Shell Kingkiner's comment. Unfortunately, she lost me, which lost me. You sat down with the Creator, and if you can convince the Creator that the game plan you wrote is viable and puts you in with the lessons that you need to get right, then the Creator will sign off on it.
Absolutely. Every time.
If you don't have, that unbroken memory thing going on, you don't remember this until much later in life.
Faulty memory.
I don't know that it's faulty. I think some people
selective.
I think some people just choose to forget that they spent a great deal of time working up this game plan that may or may not be working.
True. Because it's not a game plan. It's a game. And life is not a game.
It's a dance. It really is. And if you don't get the steps correct, you screw it all up.
You got to get the rhythm. You have to find your heart song initially. And you have to get
the thing with that, and going along with JC's argument, if you wrote the script, if you wrote the dance, and you screwed the dance up, you wrote that screw up into the dance.
Absolutely. And you do your best to make it look good. I was in a fancy restaurant with a friend of mine, and he ordered a lobster, and when it came to the table, it wasn't cracked. So I'm sitting there with my filet mignon that you cut with a fork, and he's got this massive lobster. It's fighting him, resisting. And this is one of those one of those restaurants where you go to be seen. So dinner's going to be $50 a person. Dessert seems free, but it's not. The wine is $300-400 a bottle. I don't drink. We're all good. So my friend, my druid teacher, is sitting there fighting with this lobster. And at one point, they gave him a cracker. Well, that was nice of him. So he's got this nutcracker thing. He's trying to do something with this massive lobster. It's taking him half the table, okay? And he gets to wrenching away. Wrench. And it flew like a bird across the restaurant and down some lady's cleavage. Sitting on her cleavage, doused in butter. And so he walked over to the table and he introduced himself to the woman and her date. And he said, if you'll excuse me, I'll retrieve my dinner. And he reached down her blouse and pulled it out. And she got red and the lobster was red. And I'm just sitting there eating my filet mignon going, why can't you do things the simple way? There's a simple way and there's a difficult way. Then again, I myself have done the the bad route from time to time. But they'll never forget us, that's for sure. The night of the flying lobster. Yes. I do want to mention, eventually, we're going to have music on the show because, the guys can only do so much in the time they have. So let's thank them ahead of time because they've been with us for like 10, 12, 13 years. Maruga Booker and John Churchville are the brilliant men who play the tabla drums for us. And every time they play the tabla drums for us, I want tabla drums. Remind me, I don't need drums. I don't need drums. I don't need drums. I don't need drums. Glenn Michael Topping, who is in South Africa, who says you can meet wonderful people on Facebook. He is a drummer. He's a drum maker. He's a singer. He's a musician. He's every kind of healer you could imagine. He has a thing. If you go on SoundCloud, it's a tone actually. It's called Schumann Low Theta, SCHUMANLOWTHETA. And it's an energy that gets you up in the morning and keeps you going. It's maybe 6 minutes long. I don't know, because you get lost in it. It's just a beautiful tone and a wonderful rhythm. Thank you so much. Of course, John Ritter Cruz, who plays the flute music you'll be hearing in the near future. Wonderful man. Met him on the powwow circuit. Can't not go to powwow and not meet incredibly talented individuals. And last but certainly not least, want to thank our brother Superman, Christian Parrish, genius of all geniuses, and bug him. You get the chance. Bug, poke. Drop that new CD. Al Newman needs 2 of them, maybe 3. Drop it. So I want to thank them ahead of time. It will happen when it happens. That's kind of a really great way to proceed with the summer like this one, with a vast preponderance of retrograde planets, and just having come out of a retrograde cycle, just let things be what they need to be, and they'll tell you. It's like when I teach classes, I'll go in with my great big tome full of notes. When I taught college, it was 238 pages of structured notes. And I remember telling my students, if I ever have to refer to this, fire me, because I know a lot more than this. Just give me questions. And I would focus every class on their questions, knowing that, 1, they had the same questions in common, and 2, it's the best way to tailor my presentation to meet their needs at the moment. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? We're not supposed to be so impressed with what we know or who we know or what our title might be that we just throw that in people's faces all the time. That's too Dr. Phil for me. Well, I'm the guy that knows. No, you don't. Unless you walk that person's path, you don't know. You have a guesstimate, but you don't know. So what you looking at, dude?
I was trying to find us a music clip.
Oh, that'll keep.
Well, you were saying your spots. I was trying to keep busy.
We're getting there. Absolutely getting there. So, yeah.
I finally figured out who was talking from Spirit Soaring to Take a Walk with me.
Me.
Yeah.
13 years at Para X, and I was always a guest. I get that little Lego looking thing. It says, I'm a guest. I go, well, if I were a guest, get me a Red Bull. Pull up a chair for me. Bring me some Twinkies. Guest. Then again, like you said, there's so much they could have done for us and chose not to, which is really, truly fine.
Look, if you read my banner, it says Astral Baglady featuring the Dr. Reverend L. Newman and Reverend Spirit Soaring.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I put you first. And
next week you can flip it, and then it's Reverend Doctor. Because that's how we roll. Consider this. I believe much trouble and blood will be saved if we opened our hearts to share. We're only as sick as our secrets. Our ego takes over control of our lives, and when that happens, it deters our mind from where we're supposed to be, and we get very sick. Then we hurt people, and our mind will always justify our actions. Our minds will give us rationalizations and tell us that it was okay what we did during that time when we were doing bad things. My Creator lets me live today with an open heart. Lets me realize that vulnerability is strength, not a weakness. My great Creator Spirit will let me realize the power of an open heart. Let me be open to all the truths. If I get into trouble, I will work my way out of it because I brought this on myself. Let me nurture, love, and always walk in peace. Words of Chief Joseph. Chief Joseph, who was not a warrior, but fought some mighty rugged battles. Mighty rugged. He was a fisherman. He was a farmer. He just wanted to go fishing, plant some potatoes, play with his grandkids. But, white America had other ideas for him. The next thing you know, he ends up in Chinook, Montana.
Um, Native tribes were much like the Marine Corps, I think.
You think?
Yeah, no matter what your actual tasking in the tribe was, in times of war, everybody was a warrior.
Sure. Even the women.
In the Marine Corps, no matter what your job was, your base job was a rifleman, no matter what
Sure.
gender or anything.
Sure.
So to me, it kind of resonates. It kind of makes sense that a fisherman could lead a merry band of ragtag soldiers on a wild goose chase across 4 states,
Uh-huh.
up and down mountains, across deserts, through the salt flats, and still have enough left at the end of the day to demand terms when they finally corralled him.
Mm-hmm. After they killed 237 women and children and massive numbers of true warriors.
Yeah.
That was enough. And an interesting fun fact, the Hotchkiss gun that was used at Spirit Mountain on Chief Joseph and then his first people was the same gun they took to Wounded Knee to kill Chief Bigfoot and innocent people. Now, let us thank God herself that people ran away and lived to tell the story. Because it was a massacre. It was the massacre at Greasy Grass. It was not a good thing. It was
If
just a bad thing.
if they hadn't have lived to tell the tale, would the tale have ever been told? Probably not. And you
You
have
know,
all of these graves being found, and
I
they're finally being told.
back in the day when Phenomenus was a baby and the only true metaphysical newspaper in America, I was lucky enough to be the staff. It was Cindy Solom's staff. I was staff. And I was on a reading bender, which I always am. And I read Burying My Heart at Wounded Knee, and it affected me. That's when I discovered I was Lost Bird before I found Lost Bird. But I dreamt about it. And then when I got up from the dreaming place, I wrote about it and I put it in the paper. And I got missives from people all over America saying, "You were there. You know what Chief Bigfoot said. You know how he looked when he fell. You know, he had pneumonia. The man was dying of pneumonia. That's a real threat, don't you think? You could push him down in the snow. That's about it. But no, you got to shoot him." So they said, "You were obviously there. Your soul traveled there. And that's why you appear to be white, but you got a big red heart as well. I always have had. That's just me." But yeah, it was nice to get that confirmation. And that's, Neptune in Pisces retrograde will give us confirmations of things we didn't want to be true. But isn't it better to know the truth than to live a lie? We need the truth. It's what sustains us, it's what gives us hope and courage to move on to the next level. I mean, you're going to see once we get to, where did I put that chart? Visit amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Okay, the moon went into Pisces at 10:51 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Monday, 6:28, and enters Aries at 6:21 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 6:30. Okay, so we're on this we're in this Piscean boat together. Some of us more so than others, but we're all in the same exact place right now, which is analytical and introspective, and very much about quietude. Pisces either get quietude or they tune everything out around them. Like when I was writing today and Lisa walked up and touched me. It was like, whoa, I was in the zone. And it was my happy place. So find your happy place, whatever that might be, and go there and tune out this mundane world because it's the least of us. And then see if you can't take a look at your life from a higher altitude. And you get to see the whole picture, It isn't about a failed marriage or a failed relationship or something. It's about choices that led to that. and how you can never again make those same choices because you know better. So it's very much a live and learn time. It's time to listen to not what only people are talking about, but pay attention to what they're not talking about. Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto is the cosmic roto-rooter. Capricorn rules perversion, among other things. It's a cycle where people's secrets are going to hit the fan. We got Mars and Venus opposing that right now. So for the next 6 weeks, people with deep, dark secrets can either share them with the world or meet them in the streets. I'd rather share them with the world. It's just better. Don't you think? Healthier that way. You poor darling. I tell you, you need Southern Comfort for your tooth. It worked when all my babies are teething. Here, mommy's here. Feel better.
The clove oil does help.
Okay.
Just it doesn't last all that long.
Mm-hmm.
The lemon not helping so much.
There's actually a couple kinds of mouthwash you can get that work on when you have had or are having surgery that are kind of nice. When in doubt, bleach, watered down bleach will keep you getting infected, but there's a couple that will numb the situation, which is rather lovely. I would say don't work on me if I don't get good drugs. Okay? If you give me good drugs, we can visit. If you don't give me good drugs, just toddle on. Go to the next.
Yeah, but I don't take their drugs, so
Yeah, and like you said, you're allergic to them.
that doesn't work for me.
I'm not allergic to much. I'm allergic to sulfa-based drugs, which from my mother's side of the family, some kind of World War II thing. And they don't really use sulfa that much anymore. Thank goodness.
Allergic to penicillin, sulfa.
Oh,
Uh, there's another antibiotic that I'm actually allergic to. I'm allergic
amoxicillin.
to types of bees.
Amoxicillin?
Uh, it's still a psyllin. I'm allergic to all of the psyllin family.
Mm-mm-mm. That's unfortunate. That is most unfortunate.
They have to give me tetracycline if I need an antibiotic, and they can give me that 4 times in my whole life. So,
Well, you're not addicted. That's the good news.
oh, I'm allergic to morphine. They gave me morphine and intensified my pain tenfold.
I have sat in hospice, actually, with my friend Carol's mother-in-law, Grace, I think was her name, and watched the doctor keep increasing the morphine because she was not coming back. And at one point, we were sitting on either side of her bed in chairs, and we fell asleep. The fumes alone put us out. We came back, she was gone. I was like, oh, Carol, we need to make the bed flat because they don't want to carry her out looking like she died at her desk. So we did make a wish, straightened her out. We have people come get her. And that was such a beautiful tale because she was absolutely awful to Carol. Carol married her husband for whatever reason and took over the family business temporarily for 28 years. Are you with me? 28 years. Now, in my world, temporary is 2 to 4 weeks. It's not 28 years. He was useless. She did all the work. They were in a sketchy area, so they got robbed often. They had people come in like sucking chest wounds. She got to deal with that and the unions and all of it before she finally decided that this is way too much. Now, the mother-in-law was one of the original owners of the business, and she would be in the store with Carol, and she said, I have a question for you. And I said, okay. And she said, every once in a while, Grace will stand behind the counter, lean forward, lift up her skirt, pull down her panties, and show me her behind. And I said, Carol, that's called mooning you. It's a sign of disrespect. And she said, I thought so, but she's old. What a beautiful song. She's old and crazy. Okay, fine. We're old and crazy. And so when it came time to sit hospice with mom, her son, the orthopedic surgeon, who was my surgeon, was no use. The son, who was some kind of rocket scientist, was no use. And the daughter, who's a shrink, was no use. So she ends up with the daughter-in-law, whom she hates, and me, a total stranger. But that's as it was meant to be. There's an awful lot of. I learned as much as I taught or shared in that experience. And at one point, we were sitting in the room, and there was like a flat roof outside the window, and it had rained, so there was some water in that flat roof. That's what happens when you have a flat roof. And Carol had gone to call the funeral directors to come get the body. And so I was sitting there, same chair, and have my feet up under the railings of the bed. You know how they have the metal railings. And we're talking, and I look up at the ceiling, and there's a reflection of water. Beautiful, beautiful water reflected on the ceiling. And I've been playing seaside music for her for like a month. Because even though she was in a coma, when the music played, she didn't have lines by her eyes. And when the music went off, the lines came back. So we kept that going. So I'm sitting there enjoying this seaside voyage with her. And the nurse walks in the door as I'm sitting there talking to whatever her name was. And she says, "Oh, you're busy." "Yeah, we're busy." And she just walked out backwards. It was like, that's okay. We did an ocean voyage. It might have been a puddle, but I'll take my blessings where I can find them. I had one today. I have to look up moth medicine. What does that indicate? Moth medicine. For some reason, moths have been coming to my kitchen door, and somehow they get wedged between the window and the screen and the other window, and I can't get them out. So this morning I had the WD-40. I'm trying to get the one button to work. It doesn't work. I got the other button to work, so at least I got the screen or the window pulled away from the screen. Little moths who've been stuck in there 2 days and I feared were dead landed on the floor, so I swept them out the door and they flew away. Thank you, God. And I thought, well, that is a great way to start the day, saving a life, no matter how small, because we're all interconnected here. And how we respect every form of life is how life respects us. So hopefully I won't get more moths in the door. Whatever. Guess I need a new button. Let's look at moth medicine. Probably something to do with chrysalis, metamorphosis, or eating woven clothes, whatever. That's all good. So, yes, in this cycle where we have so many mixed messages going on, Jupiter, Moon, Neptune, all in Pisces, Venus, Mars, and Leo. I want what I want until I get it, and then I don't want it anymore. Saturn, Aquarius opposing the Venus-Mars duo in Leo, saying your dreams can happen, but you got to do some homework. You got to make an effort. You have to prove to yourself and the universe you're worthy of this. Then you can have a success, which is why Aquarians, Geminis, Librans, and everybody in no particular order are highly advised right now to set your highest goals 2.5 years into the future. Because Saturn's going to be there for 2.5 years, and he'll probably influence you for another year after that. He's a steady, constant guy like that. He's the drill sergeant with the reflector sunglasses, which he wears because he wants you to look at yourself. He may tell you drop and give me 20, but he wants you to look at yourself and your behaviors and accept the responsibilities of your actions, which is not asking too much. It's just, human being 101, right? Right. I forgot to thank our listeners. Silly, foolish me. Whether you're listening live on YouTube or Facebook, or you listen to our podcast after the fact, thank you so much. We truly have increased our audience tenfold in 3-4 weeks, something like that. And the sky's pretty much a limit. And once again, Jupiter and Pisces, everyone's looking for a spiritual tuning fork. If what you are doing, if the dreams that you have and the actions you're taking are well aligned with your true spiritual nature, I guarantee, money back guarantee your success. Because that's the real motivation. It's us. We're here to help people. We're not here to make a buck. Well, we did make 46 cents, but we're not here to make a buck. We're here to help people help themselves. Because that's true empowerment. It's not about let me be your guru. That doesn't work. Not now. Not since Paramahansa Yogananda, and he's busy elsewhere. Not since Gandhi, and he was a mixed message. So it's about finding your own sacred space, particularly if you can stay home as much as possible until Thursday morning, okay, or Thursday afternoon. Ride these aspects. You're only as good as the aspects are. Make it a moon lodge because you need it. You deserve it. And then surround yourself with whatever inspires you. It could be nature. It could be beauty. It could be music. It could be films. It doesn't matter. It's whatever takes you to a place where when you're doing it, there's no world. My Pisces daughter has this focus thing. Well, she's got her Venus in Scorpio too. Has this focus thing that's absolutely mind-boggling. She can watch terrible films and not spit up her cornflakes. I can't do that. There's a lovely countryman named Joe Bob Briggs, and Joe Bob Briggs sits outside his trailer and shows you really tacky films. And we were watching it back in the 80s. Well, he's around again. He's on AMC Plus, but it's not worth $15 just for that. Would you leave your teeth alone? Leave your teeth alone. Making me nervous. Or whistle. Whistle. There you go. I love it. He shows these, they saved Hitler's brain, that kind of stuff. Mars needs women. Plan X from space. Bela Lugosi. It's him. He makes it worth watching. The films, not so much. She can. And when she's sitting there watching a film, good or bad, she will not hear the phone ring. She will not, unless I walk in front of the television, she forgets I'm there. She's in her own little world. And that's what we need to create for ourselves right now. Some kind of bubble, some kind of magical bubble cocoon thing that we can sit in and feel really good about our lives and our choices and our spiritual growth and our goals. That's what this site's all about. Once again, if you want to wait 110 years, fine. I don't. I'm happy with dealing with it now. Happily dealing with it now. And knowing that for Geminis, it's even more so powerful because it brings really benefic aspects to your midheaven. That's your career. So if you are self-employed or want to be self-employed or looking for a better job, that's going to make it happen. And with Saturn and Aquarius, it's good that Gemini types like you and I have a curriculum vitae that reads like a book and have a resume that has for 2 weeks I did Brazilian wax jobs, and then I shaved poodles, and then I made sundaes, and then I washed cars. Yeah, it's good that we have such diverse skill sets because we'll find ways to make them doable.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Moth medicine.
Okay, moth medicine.
A letter, an email, or package will be coming shortly bringing important news.
Okay.
Trust your sense of smell and avoid anything that smells bad. Whatever has been hidden or veiled is about to be revealed. If you're single, focus your intention of attracting a romantic partner. If you do, trust your senses as to whether or not it's a good match. If you're in a romantic or intimate relationship, enhance the attraction by using essential oils as aromatherapy rather than perfumes or colognes.
Like Wesson.
When you're involved in a creative project that you need to be very discreet or secretive about, when there's an increase in your level of activity such that you find yourself flitting from one thing to another, when you're in a cloud of confusion and need to somehow clear things up,
Neptune.
or when you're involved in a conflict or you're feeling attacked and want to defend yourself with discretion and stealth.
Wow. Sounds good. I was just glad they weren't dead. I just kept thinking, oh my God, let them be. Please, Lord, let them be. They're your babies. They're your innocents. And when they jumped down and I gave them a little scoot with the broom and they flew away, it was like, okay, quick before the cat sees you. Because my cats love bugs. They're interactive cat toys, especially stink bugs. Luckily, they don't stink. So, transformation. Yeah, I can see that.
I always have a member of the research team standing by to grab the book.
Yeah, you keep them going. Just keep them going.
Swampy says sounds bipolar.
I'm happy. No, we're not.
Right.
Altogether, we're good.
Rory asked me to pull a card from my deck this morning, and I got Fox.
Oh, fun. Okay.
And I couldn't for the life of me
share.
And I've been teaching animal medicine
since Dirt was young.
Yeah, couldn't for the life of me remember how to express fox medicine in my own words. And it's really funny because that's the medicine that I wrap myself in when I go out in public. When you want to be seen and not heard, when you don't want to be seen, when you want to
Sure.
observe from the shadows, when you want to be playfully protective of your charges, when you want to encourage others to find their inner child while maintaining that vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
That's Fox medicine.
Sweet.
Um,
I'm always Cody, I can say outrageous things to people that are honest, but they're funny. And
well,
because they're funny, they'll laugh with me. And then they go home and they go, she called me a horse's patoot. Well, yeah, that's how you were acting.
I walk
Calls
in
it as I see it.
Cody as a rule, but wrapping myself in Fox doesn't change the walking in Coyote.
True.
It just gives me a protective layer of something I believe in.
Yeah. Well, I threw cards for her, and what I got was that quote we did before: "Nothing is as it seems."
Yeah,
Food doesn't always taste like food. Sometimes you can be too tired to sleep, and everything else being equal, I don't think she's eating enough. I would question that. Or maybe, just to make me happy, she could start taking some prenatal vitamins. Because, we need more beanses. One beans is not, I'm thinking half a dozen, okay? Oh, I could shop till I drop. No, things with sunflowers, things with birds, things with dinosaurs. Yes.
you're hilarious.
Make me happy. No, I'm crazy, but, I'm legit crazy. So it's not like I didn't warn you.
So it's all good, right?
It's all good. It's all good. It makes it hard to get insurance sometimes, but it's all good. ah,
Um, it's funny you mentioned that.
hmm.
Rory is, bless her heart, dealing with probably worse baby fever now than she had before she
Yes,
got in the way
yes,
with beans.
yes. It's working. Dancing around my red candle, saying more
She
beans.
says she willfully says it's not time, even though I want this now. We have a house to build.
Beans, beans, more
Uh,
beans, more,
we have an RV to secure, so we have some place to dwell while we're building our house.
more beans, more beans, more.
Yeah,
It's a
get
brainworm.
those people to start rolling in the donations
There
to
you go. The beans fund. Consider this: over their 79-year history, the USO has been with the troops and their families through countless periods of uncertainty, change, and challenge. And this has never been more important than it is today. Our mission is to go where they are, to be where they are. Whenever our service members need to stay connected to home, family, and country, that's our duty. Imagine being half a world away from home in a remote desert. You're carrying about 50 pounds of gear. It's nearing 100 degrees. There's sand in your boots, your eyes, your hair. Your ears are ringing from gunfire and explosions. What's the first thing you want to do as soon as you get the chance? You want to talk to your loved ones at home to tell them you're okay and how much you miss them. This is reinforced day after day by the men and women in uniform serving us around the world. You, Making a phone call from home from other remote parts can be really difficult and truly expensive. So, if you agree, our brave members of the military who sacrifice everything to defend our safety and the freedoms that we take for granted to connect with the people they love, it's time to do what keeps them going day after day. It's time to keep them strong. Just go to uso.org. Donate what you can. As little as $10 can make the difference in a veteran's life. I think that's well worth doing. And while I have that in my paw, consider this, since I'm somehow in order. You can offer dreams of hope for Lakota children. For only $15, you can provide them with nutritious meals. For $25, you can provide bedding and linens. For $50, you can provide them warm clothing, which they still need because they're in the mountains, folks. And for $90, you can help with all three. Send whatever you can. Just make your donation to the St. Joseph's Indian School. Call them at 1-800-341-2235 or find them on the internet. Thank you so much.
right now. You could probably get away with sending them fans. They would love you.
For the moment, and then it's going to snow. I have a cat that
Look,
loves the
I
fan.
have friends that don't understand this. Okay, it never gets above 82 to 84 degrees
Tolerable.
in some parts of Montana and Washington State.
Mhm.
Temperatures in excess of 95 degrees start fires there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's not just the figurative fires either.
Oh no. You should be in Montana in haying season when everything is dry. Because first of all, well, hey, there are no speed limits in Montana. Are you with me? So the only time you might slow down is if you need gas. The rest of the time, boom. And people that drive in the mountains, we're talking 9,000 foot elevation. People that drive in the mountains drive like they're on flat land. You know, there's no big deal to them. So by the time you get to September, uh, the grass has been eaten by the cattle. So now you're zipping down a country road, nicely paved country road, 75, 80 miles an hour in the mountains with no guardrail. And on the other side of the road, the cattle have come into the road to eat the grass. Now, have you ever tried to move a cow?
Uh,
Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. I jump up and down, moo, moo,
I'm
moo, move
even
it.
I'm even guilty of convincing friends that cow tipping is a real thing.
My daughter always used to tip the cat. We had this big fat cat that was shaped like a bus, and she'd go, cat tipping, and she'd knock him down. And he'd look at me like, you see what I put up with?
Look, I was so convincing I would participate,
Mm,
even knowing that the cow that was standing up was a bull and it was going to chase me.
wow.
Yeah,
You're lucky it wasn't.
cows don't sleep standing up. If you see a standing cow in a field in the middle of the night, it's a bull standing guard.
Yeah. And he's probably got an attitude. I'm just saying, you
Yeah,
know?
because he's the one that's up all night.
Yeah. It's like staying up with the kids, you know? Just another reason for Beans to have a roommate because, keep her company. I'm not giving up on this, let me tell you. No. Because my daughter retired on me, one and done. So what am I going to do here? I need children to
You
spoil.
don't know what you're gonna do here. You're
I need
hilarious.
I need children to spoil. Life is a sad and hollow, empty thing without children to spoil. That's why Amazon, one click and you purchase it. Oh, I love it so much. So message coming in. Okay, that's cool because I got some irons in the fire. Package that's daily. That's Amazon. Although today I got a portrait blouse. I'm that close to getting headshots taken. Okay, because the ones that you're using are ghastly, and so I need new headshots. And I have a friend that's a model. She's got somebody who can do headshots for me. Yada yada blah blah blah. It's nice weather. We can be outside. Yada yada. So I bought this blouse. Remind me with the 2x4 upside my head. Leave your tooth alone. That I should not buy stuff off my Facebook page. Okay. Now, either it's those Chinese sizes, which are either way too big or way too small, or they're not what they pretend to be. I had that tent that I
uh,
bought. They
I
charged
bought
me. Hmm.
I bought a pair of boots off of Wish.
And
In the picture, they look like really nice leather, like jester boots.
yeah,
Just
garbage bags.
I'm a clown. I had to have some jester boots.
Oh my god.
They're
Oh my god.
pleather.
I can't get past those 40 sex toys for 19.99. That just boggles. Never mind. I see. It's one of those. I don't even want to think about it. It's just
They were pleather.
too ugly. So I got this blouse. Turns out it's a little bit smaller than the brand new cover for my Benz. Okay. Yeah. So it's black. It's long sleeved. It's the cheesiest fabric in the world. Like cheesy, like cheap suit cheesy. Suit lining cheesy. Okay. So it clings and it rumples and it bumples and it's ugly and it's uncomfortable. And then I couldn't figure out how to tie it. One side has this like 6-foot tie, the other one has a 3-foot tie, and I'm trying to figure out how to get this tie over here because that ties in the way of that. Shouldn't there be a slot here? And so finally tied it after a fashion. And I took a look at it, and it looked like a rotten baked potato. That's what I looked like. It was a rotten potato with a cinch. And then to make it even more special, are you ready? They included this great big gaudy brooch with like sparkle things in it. I don't know where you're supposed to put that. I put it in the box for St. Vincent's, or actually the Vietnam Veterans of America, because it's always good to tithe. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So scratch that. Luckily, I hadn't made an appointment with the woman to get my headshots done because I'd be back in my kimono, which is probably truth in advertising when you think about it. Because I spend most of the warm weather in my kimono.
I'm of an opinion that if you got to go and get headshots done, you might as well go and get headshots done in the fashion or form that people are most comfortable with seeing you.
Jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah. In my case, cargo pants or cargo shorts and a
There
t-shirt.
you go. There you go.
If I, I do dress up occasionally and I do put on the clerical collar occasionally. But if I do, it's because it's an occasion.
Hmm.
Anytime anybody else sees me, I'm either in lounge clothes or cargo pants.
Hmm.
Hell, I even put on a clerical collar and wear cargo pants.
I have a robe which is very ecumenical looking, and a collection of stoles, among other things I used to collect when I was in my uh, cycle of consumption. Um, were liturgical antiques, and so I have the stole the bishop gave me the last time I was ordained. I have a stole I bought that's trucked it, gorgeous, and I have a stole that's too old to wear because it's from 1890s. And it's so weird because I was in Toronto at an antique shop in like a big mall and collecting stuff. And I saw this beautiful rosary. And the rosary was quartz or glass. It was shiny. And it was made with copper. And I was in love. And of course, it was the last one on the rack. So you got to take the hook off the rack, take the things off the hook, put the hook on the rack. And I turned it over, and it was from Shrine of the Little Flower, which is a church that's a mile away from me. One whole mile. So I bought that, and then shortly thereafter, a good friend of mine lost his mother, and I gave him the rosary at the funeral. Because prayer has such amazing power, you know. If you believe in your prayer, if you're just praying to make chin music, tell dirty limericks, it's more entertaining.
Oh,
But if you're really truly in a prayerful mode, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Nothing.
you're talking about a rosary, and you have Dijon Kinaz watching the black,
Oh, hi, Jen.
and Swampy said rabbit, rabbit. Uh, I strand malas,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not conventional. I went outside the conventional box. I decided that 108 beads has been too ecumenical. It's been too church tied, too church related.
Hmm.
But there is a number that's not related, tied to any churches or any foundations or organizations
Which is
that does resonate with witches and people of medicine and shaman. 168.
6 is 14, 15, 6. It's about community. It's about coming home.
Yeah.
It's about living your life in service of. That's what poor English, forgive me, but fill in the blank of blank blank blank. That's what Jupiter and Pisces, Neptune and Pisces, and the Moon and Pisces are all about. It's about what are you feeding? What are you living in service of? If you're living in
And
service of Mother Earth and your fellow humankind, you're in a good place right now.
look, you knew that right off the bat. You knew what the number actually stood for.
Yep.
Would you believe that papered witches, papered shaman have to sit there for 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes, and sometimes you even have to give them a clue as to why they used 168 beads.
That's why you're you. One is self and taking responsibility for self and your personal growth. 6 is where do I fit in the cosmic plan? 8 is the right use of power. The right use of power. 8 and 6 is
It's
14, 1 is 16. 8. Yeah.
it's also 12 times a standard circle,
Yeah.
and 12 times a standard circle is what you need to stand up to heal portions, segments of the world at a time.
Exactly. It's how many hours we have between broadcasts. Talk about
Yep.
will the circle be unbroken? No, never, never. And that's the beauty of it. I mean,
Look,
you're my family, your family's my family's your family.
we,
And ideally, our listeners are our family too. They're our sacred family. And we're so blessed to have them, especially
my,
considering
my
all
whole
that
journey,
you guys went through.
yeah, my whole journey has been about building community, about building that circle.
Exactly. And we have none. Here in Michigan, we don't have a community. I have a friend, Michael Wiggins, a beautiful man who died. He had 3 or maybe 4 memorial services. By the second memorial service, they didn't even say his name. They pimped his name. The first memorial was so horrible that his parents walked out, even though they got stuck paying for all of it. Yeah. We have no community. He was a community leader. He started Convocation back when Convocation was real, a long time ago, like 2000. It's not real anymore. Now it's just a
Well,
drunken dope fest.
you know, for years I went to rainbow gatherings,
Hmm.
and I stopped. And I stopped because rainbow had become a cesspit,
Uh,
for lack of better terminology. I mean, the last rainbow event I went to, less than 12 hours after I left the event, federal officers and U.S. Marshals rolled in to arrest not one but 73 known predators.
oh, God.
And
Well,
this
fine.
is someplace that parents used to let their children go to just to get them out of their hair
Hmm.
for a month during the summer.
Hmm.
Okay, this is someplace that the founders of the Rainbow Organization were all about Grandpa's dream.
Hmm.
They were all about the Rainbow Nation rising up and leading the world out of the cesspit we've become. Now it's become the cesspit that we were trying to get away from.
Exactly. And
Um,
almost every time it happens is because of the evil, selective, dirty deeds of politics. And,
yeah.
I don't do politics. I got to their inner circle at Convocation and I discovered how corrupt it was
Uh-huh.
and how they didn't really care. And these are people who saved all year long to come and stay in the hotel and spend $79 for the whole weekend, maybe 500 at the end from get to go. That was their year. They built their year around it. So seeing it all turn to poo was heartbreaking. And knowing they laughed at the people that supported him. Okay, Allison says, my dad was Catholic, my mom Native.
Fox
Second Fox
Nation.
Nation. I
Yeah.
get confused sometimes. Oh, honey, life is confusing. But
Uh,
you know what? We walk with
family.
spirit. That's another aspect of this. I'm gonna keep hammering home. Jupiter retrograde in Pisces, Moon traveling the length of Pisces, Neptune sitting in Pisces for a decade. This is where we open our hearts and our minds to the ancients and the wisdom keepers and the people who taught us so much. And you will find yourself expressing something to someone that is so clear and so brisk and so beautiful that you'll say, damn, write this down. I want to hear this later because it's not coming from you, it's coming from a higher source.
Yep.
By the way, Allison, it's me. I hijacked Spirit's name. I don't know how, but we're family. We're family.
Today we're on my page. We're on both pages, but for some reason the chat's on my page. I have the
Well,
chat
that's
running
quite
over on
fine.
your page.
That's quite fine. As long as
Um,
we're here. Like I said, you and Swampy worked miracles to get us back here when they sabotaged us instead of supporting us. Although, once again, that's what it took to get me out of Dodge.
look, the comfortable old shoes
Yeah.
had needed to go to the curb
Yes. Yes.
for a couple of years, and it became
Maybe more.
apparent.
Maybe more.
Well, it really became apparent in the last year,
Hmm.
and I, bully me for not getting us out of there quicker.
Everything happens when it's meant to. Knowing that you went to them and offered to make it better and they didn't want to was the beginning, middle, end of the story. You know,
I could have written a line of code that would have fixed all their problems.
they wouldn't have trusted you. Control freaks. See, those are the kind of
You
people.
see the facial expression, right?
Oh yes, those are the kind of people in deep dark trouble right now because the only thing you can control is how you respond to life, not how other people respond or what they do or what they choose to do. So control freaks are very unhappy nowadays. Uranus is in Taurus, and Uranus in Taurus says, there's this way you've been doing things forever. There are these systems you've been addicted to forever, and now I'm going to mess with them, and I'm going to see to it they don't work. So you have to change. I will change the situations in your life so you change.
Uh-huh.
And resistance is really, truly stupid. Stupid.
Well, resistance is futile.
That too. That's my favorite phrase. It came from a really bad movie with one of the Hudson brothers in it.
Yeah.
It was a zombie guy saying, resistance is futile. Well, it is. It is.
Well,
It's a waste of time.
Think about it. If you resist change, what happens to you?
The train runs over your foot.
Yeah.
You shut your boob in the car door. My daughter actually did that once. Ow.
Well, Sings was resistant to change. She shut her whole first 2 digits of her index finger in Bessie's car door.
Oh, ow.
And to prove a point to her, she wanted to go to the hospital and get drugs.
Yeah.
Point to her, I went to the pharmacy, got tea tree oil and a splint, and I fixed her finger.
Wow.
And
I did that once driving.
She cussed me the whole time I was fixing, but then she was like, "Wow, how did you do that?"
How'd that happen? It got better.
We do what we do because we've been given no choice. We got pushed till our backs were against the wall, and fighting back. You're right, Allison. When you get sick when you resist change.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We were cornered, and there's one thing that an old gunny that you and I both loved said and believed and taught rigorously. You back a Marine into the corner, you have done one thing that you don't ever want to do.
Indeed.
You've put your enemy in a place where he has no choice but to take you out.
Yep. Expeditiously.
On time.
Mm-hmm.
And I will back down. I will say my piece, say my grace, and pass forgiveness along. And passing forgiveness along tends to free me from whoever sticky karma is trying to wrap me up. And
exactly.
I've been there to watch the repercussions of that numerous times. I'm not saying that karma stands behind me and watches over my back and protects me from those that would do me harm or those that have bore me ill will. What I am saying is that when I forgive those, what happens naturally happens.
It unfolds. Life unfolds the way it's meant to. Now, another caveat, or actually a necessity, for this powerful Pisces transit is to be alone and have good company. I don't want to hear you tell me that so-and-so completes you. You're complete. That's it. You came in with all the bits you needed. Somebody may compliment you, but they do not complete you. And in this cycle, we all need to go into our sacred space and work on ourselves. That was reiterated to us back during the eclipse cycles. And courtesy of Pluto and Capricorn retrograde, it's here again. Whenever you are able, have a look inside yourself to see whether you're unconsciously creating conflict between the inner and the outer, between your external circumstances at the moment, who you are, people whom you're with, or what you're doing, and your thoughts and feelings. Can you feel how painful it is to intentionally stand in opposition of what is? When you recognize this, you also realize you're now free to give up the futile conflict. This is an inner state of war. How often each day, if you were to verbalize your inner reality at the moment, would you have to say, I don't want to be here? What does it feel like when you don't want to be where you are, who you are, traffic jam, place of work, the airport lounge, the people with whom you are?
I
It
cannot
is
honestly answer that.
really
Yeah,
cool.
because for the last 25 years, I've actually wanted to be exactly who I am.
I, other than my 2 stints in the hospital where I got to play lab rat, I agree. But if ever there's a place that will deny your humanity, it's Beaumont Hospital.
Oh, any
It's
hospital will deny deny you your basic human rights and your basic humanity.
This one's particularly vitriolic. Particularly,
Well,
it's true, of course. Hmm,
they've been taught to respond in a way that's not actually copacetic with the human system.
true, true. It's true, of course, that some places are good places to walk out of, and sometimes you may well be the most that may well be the most appropriate thing for you to do. In many cases, however, walking out is not an option. In those cases, if I don't want to be here, it not only makes it useless, but also dysfunctional. It makes you and others unhappy. It's been said wherever you go, there you are again. In other words, you are here. Is it so hard to accept that? Acceptance. Acceptance is the gateway to peace. And that's what this moon can bring. I mean, you'll be loony. You may drive off to work with your favorite coffee mug on top of your car. You may sit the coffee pressed in the fridge. You may leave the top off the cat's litter pan. But you're not a rocket scientist or an air traffic controller, so you don't have to really sweat all that small stuff. Not for 3 days, 2.5. And it
Uh,
started yesterday. So if you felt floaty yesterday, and I know I did. I mean, I woke up aware that it was Monday, but that's about it. And I lost myself in my predictions for a while and worked on a report for a while and then spent the rest of the day doing yard work when it wasn't raining on me because at least when it rains, you can pull the weeds easier. I like that. Today, motivation shifted a little bit and I got about 3 days work done by 1 o'clock this afternoon. Not that, well, that's Mars for you. Yesterday was Venus. Today is Mars. Tomorrow will be what it will be. Que sera, sera. Il sont quoi il sont. I like that, don't you? It is what it is.
it is what it is, and so it begins.
And in every ending there's a beginning. And that's what we're starting to realize is that just as rapidly and as effectively as you can let go of a situation or a thing, something better will take its place. So you don't end up in that lapse. In fact, if anything, it's like Lisa with her job. She either has 5 interviews or none. And I said she went to one today. How to feel? I don't know. I said you'll know. You'll know when it feels right. You'll know. It's not about the money. It's about the people and the environment and the essence of the job. Allison says she's very hypersensitive. Got hit by police chase in a car and woke up out of coma 5 days later. Oh my God. Now I feel spirit 24/7 more than what I see in front of me. How do I make sure I'm protected? My ancestors, my health care. Oh, very easy. A little psychic self-defense wouldn't hurt. Surround yourself in a beacon of light. Make it kind of like the aurora borealis. So it's white and pink and purple and a golden yellow. And just send that out down to your toes to the tips of your hair and then enclose yourself in like an egg of light. You can also flip mirrors out, which is you sit yourself in like a bridal dressing room and you bring a cone of mirrors up out of the floor and flip them out. Granted, you'll be placing yourself inside with yourself, but that's not a bad place to be. And if somebody, I like this one in particular, because if somebody sends you negative energy, they get tenfold negative energy. You've done nothing. If somebody sends you love, they get tenfold love. You use pink and blue. Okay, pink is the heart chakra when it expresses love. Love when it sits in your heart is green. It's like a forest green, a real green, not any other derivative, a pure, lovely shamrock green. When you send it out, it's pink. That's why pregnant ladies, like Beans, his mama, will glow pink whether they're having a boy or a girl. It's about the souls connecting. Blue is about the truth. It's about the heart chakra. So it's trusting the messages you get and knowing that you only share them when someone asks you the question. That's the hardest thing. You know, when you can see what's wrong with somebody's life or their decisions, and you could fix it, 5 quick words, and well, they're not gonna. Like our previous producer, who is, oh, he's a ray of fucking cesspool, is what he is. He's just the saddest person in the world, and there's no making him happy. I tried for almost 13 years, uh, and I'm concerned marginally by the people who trust him because we know he's going to take advantage of them like he took advantage of him. He's going to walk off the air like he did with us, and it's like, why don't you have the sense God gave a goose? I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's where they need to be. Some people are just plain miserable. And eventually they'll be surrounded by other people who are equally miserable. That's a community, don't you think? That's combo. No, they're too stoned to be miserable. If you have to get stoned out of your mind, if you have to drink and smoke and do drugs and whatnot to be in a spiritual space, honey, you're not there. Do not come to my drum circle like that. It happened once, and I walked out the door. It was like, this is not what I'm about. And as far as I'm concerned, you people are spitting on the floor of this church. So I'm going to take my drums, and I'm going to leave, and you can just monkey drum until you're crazy. Fine. It hurts like a heart attack. Yeah, it does. It hurts. It smarts. But once you get to the point where you can cocoon yourself in unconditional love, it doesn't hurt you anymore. And like I said, there's no sticky karma. If other people hurt themselves, they hurt themselves. Oh, well, too bad. So sad. Sucks to be you.
Allison, if you need further additional help in shielding, reach out to our family at Four of Like Kind.
Yep.
They will be more than happy to walk you through a course of instruction in shielding.
There you go. Or you can get yourself a copy of Psychic Self-Defense by Dion Fortune. She wrote the book. I just sent a copy of it to one of my favorite clients inside her report. And she sent me a Facebook message. I got my salt and I'm making sacred circles everywhere. Okay, fine. Excellent. Because Dion Fortune has forgotten more than most metaphysicians will ever know. Beautiful.
We had a basic shielding class 2 Sundays ago.
Sweet.
Because you talk to all these people, and these people tell you how energetically receptive they are and how they receive spirit. And you ask them if they shield, and they're like, what's that?
Why would I do that?
So I've got a little bit of a musical interlude for you peoples. Because we just need to hear our brother Superman.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Play.
Or not.
It's playing.
Oh, I can't hear it, but then again, I'm not supposed to, I guess.
I'm hoping everybody else can hear it.
That's what matters. He is such a darling.
So, no, they can't hear it. We tried.
Well, that's next time. That's fine. Actually,
yeah, we'll entertain you next time with some music.
Go to YouTube or Amazon. If you go to Amazon, you can buy a track for 99 cents. I'm too cheap. Oh, Allison. Okay, thank you so much for listening to me. Anytime. Point I wanted to make was, once you're open to spirit, I'm a spiritualist minister and a medium. Always have been. So I've seen spirit all my life. On one hand, it's a little bit weird because you're never really alone. You know, you walk in the bathroom, there's a 10-foot Indian standing there going, "Hey, how you doing?"
Right.
On the other hand, you don't really want to disconnect from that. You don't want. This is the source of everything that is. This is the voice of a greater heart. This is how your angels and your guardians and your guides will keep you out of harm's way and help you make better contributions with your life. You don't want to shut that down. But you must be selective. Once again, It's impure to dump readings on people. I don't care how much you know. Don't tell them. If they ask you, sure. Even then, you're going to soften it because we have a responsibility, those of us in the healing arts, to give you information in a form that's not going to hurt you. But it is time for a spot, gosh darn it. I'd like to take a moment of your time to tell you about our sacred family, who are the heart song of the Native American Rights Fund. These brilliant individuals belong to all the nations, and they've joined together to affirm and defend the rights of Indigenous people everywhere. This is a noble journey. Since 1970, their priorities have been to preserve tribal existence, to protect tribal natural resources, to promote Native American human rights, and to hold the governments accountable for Native Americans, to develop laws for Indigenous people and educate the public about the rights, the laws, and the issues of Native Americans. If you agree with me, it's rather insulting that these amazing people even have to fight this battle. This is an organization that you need to support. Please go to their website, www.narf.org, and see what you can do. Back before watch time, before calendar time, human beings knew how to live in balance with Mother Earth, especially right here on Turtle Island. The rivers ran clear and the air was pure. Then the Europeans arrived, and in their footfalls, the native population went from, get ready, 18 million brilliant human beings to 250,000. The earth paid a price as well. Over a century ago, the Lakota elders had a vision of a great black snake that would burrow into the earth and corrupt the waters. That snake is now dug under the graves of the elders and has already leaked. In fact, any pipeline, especially those that belong to Energy Transfer Partners, leak at least once a week. If that doesn't infuriate you, check for a pulse. The first Americans should never be considered last. It's time for the U.S. government to hold up the treaties they signed over 150 years ago. Please go to narf.org and get educated as to what you can do to help our beloved brothers and sisters. Miigwech. Don't forget Wednesday nights, 9:45 till 10 o'clock. We have a wonderful, it's a beacon of light. It's a prayer circle that stretches all around the world. So the times I gave you Eastern Daylight Times, adjust it to whoever you are. And you can join in the prayer if you need healing, if you need energy, if you know someone who needs energy healing, peace, whatever. Put them in your medicine bundle, light some incense, burn some smudge. I will be there from 9:30 to 10:30 because 15 minutes is not even a warm up for me when I'm drumming. So I'll be drumming from 9:30 to 10:30. Hop right on in and be part of a group of sacred Mesa healers from all around the world. Thank you. Allison says, my mom's last name is Barefoot. Thank you. I don't have many relatives left. I'm always barefoot. I'm a barefoot drummer. I'm so foolish. In the winter, I got to take my shoes off to drum because you have to be grounded, especially the way I drum because I'm a trance drummer, which is the best way to go. So, Mom, well, God bless you, Mom, in spirit. God bless you. And Dad, you don't have many relatives left. You have all of humankind left, darling. You got us. You got Clan Mother
That's
Peace.
the way it is. It means all my relations. We're all related.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all connected in this sacred hoop. And how wonderful that the women kept the medicine going when the men fell into fear and sadness and drugs and alcohol and took back their rights as a matriarchy because it started that way, boys and girls. And then when you can look at a goddess like LaDonna, and all she went through and all she did. And I don't know about you, but I didn't even know she was terminally ill till shortly before the fact. So she was still focused on the greater picture.
I have known for 2 years. I knew when they gave her a time frame.
Mm. I probably didn't want to know. I probably didn't want to know. Okay, for Allison, she wants to get her son a drum. Okay, where do you want to get it? There's a wonderful company called Sweetwater Drums. They're very good with credit. They have quality drums. You can get warranties on them. Highly recommend them. I got my djembe, my ashiko, my doumbeki there. Someday I'm probably going to get tablas there, but I don't need tablas, remind me. The powwow drums like I play are all built by medicine men, so you have to petition. And they'll ask you medicine man type questions. So if there's any sense that you won't appreciate how sacred the time, the energy, the animal, the tree, and all that is, you're not going to get a drum. And I mean, we're talking people could use the money because my powwow drums, I've had 5 of them so far, sell for about $3,000 a piece. Now
Sure.
it's $750 just to put it together, and then there's 6 to 8 months just to make it happen. Now the easiest way to get a drum, and probably a humanistic way, go to pawn shops. I got a beautiful tunable Boron in a pawn shop.
I,
Sadly,
I think she's looking for more like
Native
great
American drum.
voices. She's looking for a hand drum.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
going to find hand drums in a pawn shop, unfortunately,
I
because
have. I
you
have.
have
Yeah, I
uh,
have. There's
that
also
person came on really hard times.
there are gajillion websites where they sell drums, painted, unpainted, ones with like blankets on the sides of them, the big drums. Uh, there's also a company called Northern Sun that will sell you a drum kit. I myself will never make a drum because no, I tried to fix a drum once and broke it more, so that's not my métier. But Northern Sun, you can generally get a nice frame drum for about $200 to $250, depending on what kind of hide you get. Because I tour, the drums I primarily play have synthetic hides because cowhide goes flat when it's hot or too humid. Any
Elk
hide will act up.
leads. Buffalo is best.
Oh, buffalo's indestructible.
Um,
Indestructible.
where are you at, Allison? Is it a lot easier to direct you to somebody that can do what you're actually looking for if we know where you're at?
Yep.
Uh,
Can bless
so and I'm sure
your
also have
drum.
friends all over the world that build drums. It's just needing to know where you're at to do so.
Yeah. It's not hard to find. Look under hand drums or powwow drums. You will be just fine. Just fine. The sad thing is, see, I prefer to play a drum before I buy it because I want to know if its voice is in a has a harmonic resonance to the rest of my drums. With the big ones, you can't. You know, you buy them at yours. Long Beach, California. All right, there we go.
Um, Actually, I do know somebody.
Okay.
Reach out. I'll put you in contact.
Okay. Now she says, "I love our listeners. Spirit gets too attached to me when certain objects come into my house. I think I'm in a portal. You can fix that. You can seal your house. You can simply take consecrated water, which is the same stuff the Catholic Church puts in their little holy water font. You run some water, you get some salt, preferably kosher salt. You point to the water. You can take that shit down. You can point to the water and say, make this water make for the health of the body, and then make that cross. And then point to the salt and may the salt make for the health of the soul. And may there be banished where this is used every power, object, or artifice of evil. Amen. That's it. Now, I like to do it in the bathtub because then I'll take consecrated water, water my plants with it because it's a little bit of salt, and I will seal the doors and windows with consecrated water. I will also throw my butt in the bathtub and submerge myself so I can seal my aura Dora. It's Angora. Sorry, too much Frank Zappa in my formative years. It'll seal my aura so negative energy can't get in. And I mean, our group has cleaned up murder scenes, murder suicide scenes, homicide scenes, grisly stuff. And no one's ever brought attachments back with them.
I
Although
accidentally brought an attachment back from a graveyard.
oh, good. All right. Everybody loves company.
Nah.
So what'd you do?
I woke up with the barrel of my Sig 226 in my mouth.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, you need your teeth. We're back to teeth again. See? You need your teeth.
The funny thing is, I had to have been the one that got it, retrieved it, because it was in a locked thumbprint box that required my thumb to open it. And that was in my car, which required keys that were in my pocket to go get it.
Okay.
So yeah, the attachment thing, it's very real and can be very hazardous to your health.
Oh yeah, there is a man whose name I can't think of right now he turned his house into a museum of haunted stuff. He was a Parex guy at one time.
Yeah,
Haunted stuff, John something. Haunted stuff. And it's like,
the guy from
Doofus.
Ghost Chasers.
Yeah, Doofus, that's a petri dish of negativity. Unless you find some way to really seal it. And in my world, if this is the baby doll so and so was holding when she strangled her child, I say burn it. Just burn it.
Yeah,
It's not there for cuddles anymore. Burn it. Say a prayer for everyone involved. So yeah, the attachment thing is real, and that's why I so appreciate the people in our group that does research in hauntings and possessions. Although most times it's more of an obsession than a possession, because they walk into this scene and they have no idea what's going to meet them, much like an exorcist, but only a Jesuit priest can actually do an exorcism. That's another story for another day. They walk in and they're ready to take on the darkest of the dark to shield people and help people stay okay and help them heal. I love them for that. And we never take money because that'd be wrong. I mean, they're already in a precarious situation. They already have a sense of being victimized by the world of spirit, so I'm not going to do that. Yes, my husband had 7 thrift shops. Oh my Lord. I allow myself 1 trip to a thrift shop a year and 1 garage sale because, as you know, I don't need stuff. I've met my acquisitional self. I'm a life number 8. We don't want to get started on any kind of collection. My drums have a room all their own, but at least they pay the rent. But oh my God, 7 thrift shops. Yeah, I'd get sick too. I would get sick too. So you just seal your aura and seal your home, and negative energy can't get in. It reminds me of back when we did the psychic fairs at Trapper's Alley. How I tell him this and he smiles. So I got divorced. Divorce is a wonderful confirmation of what marriage ought to be. I'm not ashamed that I've been divorced 3 times. I'm not. And every time I went into it thinking forever, and then it turned into that Meatloaf song. I'm praying for the end of time to hurry up and arrive. Because if I spend another minute with you, I don't think I can really survive. And and it was as amicable as it can be, considering it's a sick business. And we moved on. And all 3.5 of them were different. So at least if I'm gonna screw up, I screwed up in new and exciting ways and places. Give me some points for that. My friend Quentin. My friend Quentin's been married 5 times, including a set of sisters. Okay, sisters. And when he got the one sister pregnant, the other sister babysat for him. Ex-wife. 5 times. And every woman he's married has been a little bit crazier than the one before. Just a little bit. A little bit.
Swampy says he avoids the thrift shops because he likes to acquire stuff.
I know. And it takes over. I still have my new dining room chair sitting in a box on the patio because I know when I bring them in, my bumcat's going to shred them. It's like, well, they're new in the box. They'll stay new in the box for a while, and then, weather will make me bring it in, I guess. We got another 10 days to our photo shoot, so I have to keep my projects into high gear. Monsoon notwithstanding. It'll be interesting. She says your adrenaline glands are very weak. There's a thing at the health food store that you can probably also get at Amazon called Drenaplex. For a while, I had this gift of, I would go out in my car just being a person, and my car would say hit me. And so I got hit a couple times. Not till I had the big bad one, but I got hit a couple times. And my chiropractor actually put me on Drenaplex because he said, when you're in that fight or flight situation, your adrenal glands are on overdrive. And you have to be able to bring them to a point of balance. So he put me on Drenaplex, and he said, this way it can't be too far in either direction. It'll just kind of bliss you out, which is fine. Plus rescue remedy. That's always good. It's a Bach flower remedy that's like nature's Valium. I use that a lot in hospice or in counseling. It's just, once again, you don't get too happy, you don't get too sad. You're just there in the moment. That's where we have to live with Neptune and Pisces. That's where we really need to live. for the next 3 days in the moment. Pay attention. See what finds you in the moment, what opportunities you get to help others, to reach out or to go within. Basically, it's a moon lodge of a different sort, which is why, like I said, I just had to divest myself of those jeans and that long sleeve shirt. It was like, who am I kidding? The yard work is done. Don't have to water because it rained. I'm not going anywhere. Get the kimono. And this kimono is special because, excuse me, I bought it 3 weeks ago. And the day I bought it, the cat curled up on it and went to sleep. And so for 3 weeks, it's been amassing cat butts one after another. And I didn't even know if it fit me or not. So I put it on the table. Hey, it fits. All right. The cats were elsewhere. So you had Drenaplex and Bach Flower Remedies, Rescue Remedy, which is also available on Amazon. As I said before, if they don't have it on Amazon, that's a place to look for drums too. But Sweetwater has better. We're both great. Yes, fight or flight. Ulcers. Throat chakra closes. When he says shut your mouth. Ulcers. Oh,
Sacred wound therapy.
yeah.
You need to find your inner sacred matriarch.
Exactly. When you're empowered, oh, bless you, darling. When you're empowered, an empowered individual, empowered female, you will discover that fight or flight is not an issue anymore because you know what's worth fighting about, which is precious little. And you will carry your strength so much in your shoulders and your carriage and your gaze that people won't really want to mess with you much. I mean, there's an occasional crazy, they make life colorful. But all in all, it takes away the whole fight or flight thing. Because if you're in doubt, fly. Fly, little bird. And the person that wants to fight, our ex-producer, the person that wants to fight will always find someone or something with which to take issue and start a fight.
True.
So he is about as toxic as it comes. Doubt he'll process it much. And right now with Venus Mars on his Leo sun, he's a real mess. He's a hot mess. And doing a disservice to people just by being around. That's the sad thing. When you get so ugly and so self-involved that you don't even own what you're doing to other people, it doesn't mitigate the damages of what you're doing to some other person. Shame on you. It will catch up with you. And what you do to them will be done to you probably tenfold. There's that tenfold law of return. I did fly to 3 apartments and he followed you. Yeah. Took all your good energy and now you're drained. That's why you need to drum. You can drum on your coffee table. You don't need to have a drum. I prefer you have a drum, but you can drum on your coffee table. I drum on the steering wheel. I drum in the kitchen when I'm cooking. I drum on the great room table, the coffee table, and on occasion, if they're acceptable, the cat's belly. Drumming is the most healing, marvelous form in the world. In fact, join us tomorrow night, 9:30. I'll be there 9:30 to 10:30. 9:45 to 10 o'clock. Light some incense and open yourself up to an amazing beacon of light. This is the most important healing, and it's free because it has to be. Has to be. We're not selling snake oil here. I don't even know where you can get snake oil anymore.
Hey, look, if Palo Santo and Sage don't get it, Florida water will.
There's actually an incense called Devil Be Gone. And it's cedar, sage, copal, and kyphe, which is the stuff they used to mummify you back in the day. And it's I had a really bad roommate for a while, and every time I burned it, she'd leave. It was like, oh, that's good. That's good. I reckon it's working, you know.
I have learned that lighting benzoin
Yeah.
to drive annoying people out of the room.
Ah. I get perky. Like, hi, how you doing? What a beautiful day. And they'll look at me like, you can breathe out your ears. Yeah, I can. How you doing? How's the wife and kids? And I did that perfectly, professionally, when I was at CBS Radio, because the salespeople hated the on-air talent. Because their attitude was, if we don't sell commercials, you got no show. Well, they never sold commercials because they were stupid. And the show went on for 9, 10 years, something like that. But they were always very demeaning and very, it's all about me and my money and my toys. And I would just, life is such a gift. Remember to give something back. I'm sure you're tithing, aren't you? To someone or something or some cause you believe in. What causes do you believe in? Come on, come on, come on. What causes? What causes do you believe in? And they'd clear the lounge. And I go tell Terry, it's clear. What did he call them? Oh, highness. Highness. The highness are gone. Yeah. Yeah, it's safe to come out. People can only be who and where they are, who and what they are. And it's okay to let them. I mean, I realize now that it was my codependence that I wanted to make Sarge be a human being when there wasn't any left in there. He's just an empty, angry shell of curse words and vitriolic attitudes. Bit of a black hole.
He
Poor
got
darling.
he got sucked into that black hole that spits former service members out as ragged, broken things, and
True.
never got the help he needed.
And he never went to combat. He didn't get past Iowa. It's not like he killed people. I think he was a cook.
And
Anyone could get PTSD, but I would more, somebody who's been in combat. Hello. But somebody who comes back from Iowa and chooses to live in a cardboard box. Wow. That's some real self-destructive behavior.
to actually hear his story, and I say that now, even though I begged him to tell me his story numerous times while I was trying to be his friend.
Mm.
Um, because I feel like I would hurt him comparatively.
With yours.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I broke my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Familiarizing myself with a weapon that should have never been handed to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my hip going after somebody else that we thought we had control of, and we obviously didn't.
Surprise.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's decided he's not in our hip pocket anymore, so you're gonna have to get him. And
Well,
then
to have a friend, you have to be a friend, and he's not a friend to anybody, which he's proven by all his backbiting and sad ways, which is typical of PRX, that place.
he went and removed it. He went and left all of the Skype chats and
Mm-hmm.
took down everything he could and tried to sabotage me along the way. And I had copied everything I needed from all of their crap long before he ever really got to the point where he figured out he was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just had an idea that one day if I didn't download all the stuff to a drive somewhere, it would be gone because he just kept flaking.
Yeah. I'm given an 8. 8. 8. Do you know my number? 5683. Okay. Boom. 5683. After 1 p.m. 1 p.m. tomorrow. Because BC ACAU USE I am on call TONIGHT. There we go. 5386. It's 5386. I lied. 5386. 5. I never call me 386. Or give me your number.
Right?
It all works. Consider this. We are in a juxtaposed arm wrestle between reason and passion. So the priestess said, speak to us of reason and passion. And the wise one said, your soul is oftentimes a battlefield upon which your reason and your judgment wage against your passion and your appetite. Would that I could be the peacemaker in your soul, and I might turn the discord and rivalry of your elements into promises and melody. But how shall I unless you yourself are able to be the peacemaker, the lovers of all of your elements? Your reasons and passion are the rudder and sails of your suffering soul. If either your sails or your rudder be broken, you can but toss and drift, or else be held at a standstill. For reason, riding alone is a force contemplating and confining, and passion unattended is a flame that burns to its own destruction. Let your life direct your passion with reason, that your passion might live through its own daily resurrection, and like the phoenix, will rise above the ashes. That's the message for this week. To to bring some common sense into what you're feeling. Don't interpret it directly through your feelings. Now's not the time. After Thursday, you're good. But while we're in this massive Pisces stellium, you're feeling things you don't even know where they're coming from. You could feel attacked when it wasn't you. You could feel alone when it's not you. And when in truth, this is a perfect time to be alone. This is time to be in the stillness. This is time to appreciate the quietude and nature and the sound of your own breathing. I mean, just something as simple as breathing exercises can take all the stress out of your body. How's that for a thought? Uh, so, yeah, Allison, I left you my number in chat, or you can contact me at abaglady01 at att.net and give me your phone number and let me know when you're available and we'll chat. I should also mention the astralbaglady.net. That's where you can read your astrological predictions for this week tonight. And for spirit, it's Spirit Soaring's Take a Walk with Me or For of Like Kind. Spirit
Or
Soaring's creation.
www.spiritwalksforcreations.com.
There we go. She sees arrows. Good. Arrows are directional. Not quite like my moths this morning, but directional. Directional's good.
Rory actually mentioned when I was out with her, observing her door dashing skills, so I could figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a moth on the hood.
Mm.
He stayed with us for a bit.
There you go.
Swampy said night all.
Night, Swampus. Love you. Get some rest, honey. So I guess we're there.
We're there.
Yeah. All right then. Well, once again, remember when you talk, speak of peace. When you pray, pray for peace. When you envision peace, and together we will make it happen. Damn Skippy. Amen. The end. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
Get your two fixed.
Hope everybody had a great show.
Of course we did. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, go to YouTube or Anchor FM, and you can find the podcast. Share it with your little friends. Thank you.
Peace and blessings, everyone.
See you next week. Done.
And that is time.